breaking news, Who Dat Nation. The New Orleans Saints have signed a quarterback, and the name might be familiar to some of you SEC folk. It's the former Texas A&M Aggie, Kellen Mond. Welcome into Saints Now by Chat Sports. My name is Trace Girouard, and one of the more notable things about this quarterback is Chris Sims back a few years ago when he was putting out his mock drafts, put Kellen Mond above guys like Jalen Hurts. So, that's pretty much the synopsis of this video. Let's talk about the roster addition in New Orleans. He was a 2021 third-round pick out of Texas A&M, like I just mentioned, and he was a 4-year starter for the Aggies, and he has spent time in his NFL career with the Minnesota Vikings, the Cleveland Browns, and the Indianapolis Colts as a part of their practice squad. Now, Kellen Mond does have ties to the New Orleans Saints through Clint Kubiak and Andrew Janocko from their time spent together in Minnesota back in 2021, where Kubiak was the offensive coordinator and Janocko, reprising both of their roles in New Orleans. Now here's a look at the updated depth chart for the Saints. No surprises here. Derek Carr's your QB1. I do think that Haener is locked in at quarterback 2, and Nathan Peterman, he's a good guy to have hold the clipboard and be eyes on the sideline because he is a smart player. That doesn't mean he's a good player. He is a smart, high football IQ. That doesn't mean he's a great player on the field, though. But Kellen Mond, he is more of a practice squad / training camp body, in my opinion. But here's a look at the updated depth chart in New Orleans. And guys, this is why you subscribe, because we're going to bring you breaking news and updates all offseason long. And on top of that, we bring you guys videos almost every single day, every week, every month, every single year. So lock us in, subscribe today, and we want to be your go-to Saints YouTube channel. Now, in terms of the statistics in the NFL, there it is. That's it. 2 career completions for 5 yards. That's pretty much it for Kellen Mond. But in terms of college, let's take a look at those numbers because I think we can kind of get a better idea of who he is and what Mond is capable of. He left College Station with the completion percentage of 59% on the dot. The passing yards close to 10,000, which is actually not, terrible. I actually think that that's pretty impressive. But he is a 4-year starter, so keep that in mind. He has a touchdown to interception ratio of 71 to 27, and he also does have dual threat ability. Had 22 touchdowns on the ground, over 1,600 yards on the ground, and he did all that on 438 carries. Now, for me, this pretty much puts to rest all sorts of talk about drafting a quarterback. I mean, you can kiss Michael Penix goodbye. You can kiss Bo Nix goodbye. I don't know why you would want him here in the first place, but you can kiss him goodbye. You can kiss any sort of possibility of trying to trade up for a quarterback in the first round. It's just not going to happen. And on top of that, I think that it takes guys like Michael Pratt, Spencer Rattler, Joe Milton, some of Jordan Travis, those kind of guys, takes them out of the equation as well. And in my opinion, they were never going to prioritize drafting quarterback this year. They traded up for Jake Haener last year in the 4th round so they could roll with him to be the backup quarterback. Nathan Peterman, sure, he's in the depth chart, but Haener is your quarterback too. Derek Carr is your QB1. I understand the argument of wanting to trade or wanting to draft a quarterback for the future, but that's just not the route that the Saints are rolling with. And I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's just me telling you what the mindset is in New Orleans. Now, there are a couple reports that I wanted to show you guys from Twitter, or formerly Twitter, now known as X. John Hendricks. He does some excellent work. I encourage you to go check out him on social media and all of his work online. Kellen Mond says that this has been in the works with the Saints. They have been working on getting a contract together for quite some time. Now, also mentioned that he did have a workout with San Francisco. So that is pretty interesting that he was getting some looks and he was getting interest from other teams. It wasn't just New Orleans. And hey, if the 49ers are interested, it probably is pretty good news because the Niners are a really good football team. Now, Mike Triplett did report this as well. Kellen Mond said while it might not be the ideal path to move around to multiple teams early in his career, he said he thinks the exposure to different coaches and a veteran quarterback is a long-term benefit for him. He also says that he is a far better quarterback now than when he started in the league. Now, I do hope that that's the case. I'm sure that is the case. He's been able to work with some talented veterans. He's been able to work with talented coaches all across the league at this point, so I'm sure he's picked up a thing or two in his short and limited NFL career so far. Now give me a one-word reaction to the New Orleans Saints signing the former Texas A&M quarterback. I'm going to give you mine here in just 1 second, but it's your turn to get in the comment section and let me know. I'm trying to get more comments on my videos, so don't hesitate. Share your thoughts and have some fun with it. Now, my one word is why. Like, why? Why Kellen Mond? Why make this a move? I'm not saying I would have rather gone the route of drafting Michael Pratt and whatnot, but why? Like, he isn't anybody that's ever going to move the needle. I watched him plenty whenever he was in college because I was watching college football around the same time, so I was paying a lot more attention to it than I am now. But he never moved the needle for me really in college. He clearly doesn't move the needle for me in the NFL. But I do think that Lance Zierlein brings up some interesting points around Kellen Mond. This was his scouting report whenever he was coming out of the NFL Combine. He's a quarterback with dual-threat physical tools who has grown and matured into a role as a confident game manager. The Aggies' offense asked too much of Mond in the past, which led to diminishing returns. However, the 2020 offense featured a strong rushing attack paired with play action where he not only found greater confidence and rhythm as a passer, but also noticeable pocket poise and accuracy. He doesn't often get antsy working from the pocket and throws with solid ball placement underneath. His zone read talent and quick release to incorporate RPOs adds to his draft value, but he might lack the consistency to ever become more than a solid backup. Now, there is also an interesting report out there, and I think that there is this tie, which is kind of cool. Eric McCoy was actually the center for Kellen Mond when they were at Texas A&M. As we all know, Eric McCoy is a great center in the NFL. You know, that connection's pretty cool. And Cesar Ruiz was actually his center back in high school at IMG Academy. So, you know, a couple interesting ties to New Orleans, but I just want to get some final thoughts here real quick. I do think that the quarterback play in New Orleans is going to be much better in 2024. In 2023, the offense was stale. The play calling was bad. We didn't play into the talents and the skills of the weapons that were on the roster. Pete Carmichael lacked the play calling that played into the skills and allowed the Saints offense to be successful. I think Clint Kubiak is going to run a very quarterback-friendly offense. I think there's going to be a lot of wide zone play scheming, and I think that there's going to be a lot of movement, a lot of motion, a lot of crossing routes, a lot of stuff that's going to give Derek Carr a quick read, an easy dump off, or a deep shot, and playing into the skill set of Rashid Shaheed and A.T. Perry and Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, who are all extremely dynamic athletes and really talented football players. You just got to play to their strengths and give them the damn chance. Now, if you made it to the end of the video, give me a real one in the comment section because it's a real one. Roll call. If you watched all of our breaking news videos, that means you are a real one. So let me know if you are in that exclusive club. And if you made it to the end, don't forget to subscribe. Y'all stay golden, Who Dat Nation. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next time.